What do we have to lose?
Nothing.
Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Be careful, bro.
I already burned.
Unbelievable.
One.
What do you say?
I already burned myself.
There's a dog inside?
Yes.
My Roundup family, my Rounduppers, real estate Rounduppers. What's going down? All right, Bubba. Ready? Today, greetings, my real estate Roundup family. This is Chris Haskins with therealestateroundup.com. Today I'm going to start a new session, Cooking with Chris. In my efforts to try to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing. Is this thing working? Let me know if this thing is working. In my efforts to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship, I have to do some health as far as wealth also. I got to do health and wealth. What did I forget? Oh, you're right. The star of the show is Morgan, a.k.a. Bubba. Please forgive me. Morgan is the star of the show. Please give me, if you can let me know if you can hear me, because I want to make sure this mic is working. Bubba, you can say hello? What's this?
That was on
Okay. All right, Bubba. You want to stand over there? This is Bubba, a.k.a. Stand over there, Bubba, and start dumping. We're doing, I have found that there you go. Ready? Watch your arm. I found that in raising your financial literacy and being an entrepreneurship is a lot like being a vegan and eating vegetables. So tonight we're going to be doing curry vegetables. I learned it from my wife. Didn't know how to do it too well. All right, but just let that cook for a minute. Looks like our camera is tilting. Don't burn yourself, boy. How's that, bro?
Great.
Good to go?
Mm-hmm.
That's nasty.
What?
Bear with me, family. My camera, alright. The boy got to get his camera better today. Food don't burn up as I try to fix the camera. That's just fair. Alright, so we're doing.
Do I stir it up with this?
Wait this long?
Do I stir it up with this?
You don't stir it up. You let Daddy do it.
I'm going to do it.
We're not going to have no camera in a minute. The camera's going to fall apart. Hold on, y'all. Technical difficulties.
So next thing
Then hit it, stir it on up, bro. Hit it.
Stir the. You need to cut up some onions.
That's right. We did onions.
And some cauliflower.
Yeah, we did onions and cauliflower.
And some peppers.
Yeah, we did that too.
And what is this?
What's that? Oh, cilantro.
Cilantro.
You're saving me, Bubba. You're saving me.
And you get some cucumber.
No, that's not cucumber. That is. What is this? Zucchini. All right, curry veggies. I have found. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties. Let's do this. Roundup family. I have found that trying to eat vegan is a lot like being an entrepreneur. Trying to eat vegan and eat more vegetables is a lot, in my opinion, is a lot like being an entrepreneur. You go to a meal, you say, oh well, I just eat meat today. Just like being an entrepreneur, you say, oh, I'll just let it slide for today, right? Doesn't work like that. So tonight, curry veggies. We got my cilantro. We're going to be. Oh, here, hit it. Throw the cilantro in. You're right. Sorry about that. Curry vegetables Roundup. I got to get you on some health. And if you want to talk business, I'm going to share with you some stuff that I learned over the past week, hanging out with multimillionaires. It's truly cool to be able to hang out not just with somebody that's worth $1 million, but in excess of $1 million. Thought process is a lot.
All of the
cilantro. Okay. Huh?
All this.
Yeah, throw it all in there, bro. So this is sauteed cauliflower Roundup. Oh, we got the peas.
And you need some peas.
The peas, that's right. You gotta have your rice and peas for the curry. Throw it in there, bro. So tonight we're making.
Throw it.
We're gonna make curry veggies. Hit it, bro. Curry vegetables.
Do you need a spoon?
Let's just get right here. Sauteed cauliflower with rice and with peas, and then
that's not the right one, Daddy.
What's not the right one?
That's not curry.
The curry's
That's not curry.
The curry's right here. We got our curry sauce, y'all.
That's not curry.
No, this is the base is gonna give us that curry sauce. Ingredients: we got a head of cauliflower instead of rice. We're cutting out rice and using cauliflower.
And
actually very good.
Some of this
base, little olive oil.
That's down below. So you see that at a store.
So you can show it to them both. This is the base. Show them the base.
Get it for your.
It's veggie base.
Get it for your ingredients.
That's right. The veggie that's the base that is going to give our curry the kick that we need, give it the taste. And guys, I want to talk to you about tonight. Being an entrepreneur ain't easy. It's just not easy. Matter of fact, it's real hard. Open up our peas, Bubba.
Okay.
So we're gonna have curry vegetables, sauteed cauliflower instead of rice, cilantro, peas, red peppers, a little bit of zucchini, and broccoli for our veg and our curry veggies. This is smelling really good. I already sauteed my onions. I didn't want to do that on camera. That's gonna be a waste of time. But I want to talk to you about another thing that I was met with when I was in the mastermind last week.
Do you just want me to
pick in your hand, just throw something in. Your digital footprint. Tell me about your digital
footprint. All of them?
Put half the bag in there. Okay. Roundup, I want you to know.
It's cold.
Let's get that frozen. I want you to know, my Rounduppers, there's a wave coming. There's a wave coming, and I saw it more evident when I was down in North Carolina this past weekend. More evident than before. There's a wave coming that I noticed a little bit more. Oh yeah, a little bit of broccoli too. I'm sorry.
Broccoli.
It's not broccoli. This is garlic.
You don't put broccoli in.
We'll sauté the broccoli in a minute. Keep them coming, Bubba. Oh man, that's looking good, y'all. Y'all see that's looking good. Oh, a little bit more. The reason I can do this is because my wife is out of town for the day. Y'all pray for her brother died. If you're watching, I love you.
Yeah.
A little bit more. Not all of them, Bubba. Take your hand. That's one handful. Good. Phil, you gonna say hello or you gonna be anti tonight? People don't even know I have two daughters sometimes.
I'm gonna go water Phil's plants for you.
Okay, yeah, hit it. You gotta put some bottled water in there.
Okay.
We need some more cilantro on here. I saw more evidence than before Roundup when I was down in North Carolina this week. People are not seizing the internet as an alternative source of income. And I can tell you from experience, I was like you. If you're not seizing the internet now, I was just like you a few years ago. Okay, chill. If it, obviously, I will do questions too if you got any questions for me. Can you hear me? If you're not using the internet, Roundup family, Jay Connor asked me to do a little hour speech on what my business looks like and what's working for me. And one of the big things for me, Roundup family, is the internet. The internet works well for me. And I asked people to raise their hand in the audience if they had a Facebook page. And half the room did not have a Facebook page. Neither did they have a YouTube channel. Did they even know what YouTube was? Let me repeat that, Roundup family. If you're joining me tonight, this is Chris Haskins with TheRealEstateRoundup.com. And my daughter, we don't need any more peas. Morgan, say what up.
What up?
So tonight I'm cooking because my wife's out of town. I get to hang out with you. I can't do this with my wife in town. She didn't let me go hard with it. But we're doing curry vegetables. When I got up on the stage, I asked the people to raise their hand who is on the internet, who has a social media presence. And over half of the room did not have a Facebook page. And if they did, 3/4 of the room was not being active. They were not being active. I just thought that was quite interesting as we move. No, we don't need more peas. Put them in the freezer. As we move to 2020 and beyond. Let me start my. Oh no, this is veg here. My curry sauce gonna go there.
Can we after we eat dinner, can we finish watching The Wizard of Oz?
Yes, we can do that. Taylor, what are you doing in there?
Oh, and we have new merch. And
What merch
we
you got?
have merch.
What we have? This is done. What we got, boy?
And we have some shirts, women and men, and
We got shirts coming soon, Roundup family. Shirts coming soon.
we're having mugs.
All right, so you take your sauteed cauliflower. We're gonna set that aside while I get ready to cook the broccoli, and then I'm gonna show you how to make the banging curry sauce, which I didn't create it. My wife showed me this. I'm gonna keep teaching though. What's up, Bubba?
One day, can we have a video that we taste like?
It's gonna be good.
Taylor gives us a type of food, and then whoever eats it is still in the game. Whoever doesn't gets
Put out. We can do that.
consequence
Consequence.
at the end of the
We can do that.
end of the video. That would be
So as I was talking to the people,
fun.
noticing that a lot of them didn't have a social media presence, and I'm also asking them about where they are in their business.
Are you
I
gonna
can
use
relate.
this stuff?
Yeah, that's our. Oh, we have to use our coconut milk. Make sure you got your coconut milk Roundup. This is going to be going with our base for our curry. That's up there right there. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to figure this out. I was reading a book the other day. I don't know what it was. Wealthy learn how to prepare their own food.
I know.
The wealthy learn how to prepare their own food. You know, I'm like, what am I doing? What's that? Put a little bit of olive oil.
A lot of oil.
Get my coconut. Throw your veg in. Saute it up.
If you make pans like if you can't just use one pan or like my dad would use he would use one.
Might be better to use 2 pans. Yeah. Put the part of the broccoli in there first. So if your income is not where it needs to be, Roundup family, my Rounduppers,
You have to put onions in mine.
you can't even taste the onions. The onions are already cooked down. They're cooked down. You can't even taste it. I'll bet the salt too. If your income is not where it needs to be, as I'm hanging out with Jay Connor and he's telling me this man is implementing the internet full force. If multimillionaires are implementing the internet, why aren't you doing it? Roundup family, if multimillionaires are implementing the internet, why aren't you? No doubt Jay Connor doesn't need any more real estate. The man has enough real estate to retire on. But in the meeting with him, the first, yes, mastermind, that's right. On the first day I was down there in the platinum group, the first thing the man wanted to talk about was the internet. First step, on the first day. And this is for the platinum mastermind group. Roundup family. If it's good enough for Jay Connor, the man owns tons of real estate. He does, I don't know how many houses in a year. And the other people that are in this mastermind are doing, one person did 90 houses last year. The first thing we're talking about is how to work the internet in your real estate business. Why aren't we doing it? Or why aren't you doing it, right? So I'd like you to tell me over there, I like to know, what are you doing on the internet to increase your income? I would love to know. Because for me, if you would ask me this prior to 2017, I wasn't doing much. But when I saw that what's happening, Roundup, this phone, if you are not in this phone, good God, you're in trouble. And I want to let you know, we will be in Los Angeles from Tuesday, October 15th, I think, for the rest of the week. If you're in Los Angeles, please DM me. I would love to meet you, do coffee with you. For the internet, Jay Connor is asking me about, huh? You coming with me next week?
Yeah.
You gotta go to school, bro.
Yeah.
What can we do online? The first thing you can do, Roundup family,
You can learn.
is create your YouTube page. Obviously, I enjoy when you watch my videos, but create your YouTube page, right?
And then you'll get $1,000.
You won't get $1,000 more. I want you to be a creator of content as well as a consumer of content. I create and consume content. I'm gonna repeat that. I want you to.
I consume anything from content.
Yeah, you're just a consumer. You ain't. You're just a consumer. I want you to be a consumer and a creator. Okay? Why is that? Because the money is in the creating products.
Yeah.
That's what the money is. All right, so we're making our curry sauce, right? A little bit of olive oil. Bubba. All right, you gonna stir this up for me? Where's the big spoon? Oh, here it is. There's the big one. Where's the big one?
And there. The big one. You need these?
No. I won't do that. You put it back. Getting hot. That's good. Here you go. Is this it? Oh, here it is. Boom.
You want me to stir this up?
Not good. Okay, we're making our curry sauce, and I'll get back to my internet business.
Can I please?
Not good. Oh, let me see.
I want to do it.
I gotta put this in there.
I want to do it.
Let me do it. Let me stir it up. Come on, man. All right, stir it up. So Morgan's gonna put the base in here along with the oil. And then we'll start putting some curry in there. Then our coconut milk. This smells good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, the veggies are good. You don't want to cook them down too much. You want them to be crunchy. Taylor, how's it smell? We are trying to get healthy. How's that? Oh man, look at that. We got zucchini, broccoli. Use the base of the, use the bottom of the spoon like this.
Okay.
Let's see like that. Watch your hand, bro. Don't get burned. That's done. Internet, where was I? The internet, guys. Okay. Jay said something about networking. Networking. You have to work. The key phrase in network is the work. In order for you to make your business work, you are going to have to work it. And what other way than to use the internet to work your business, right? The internet cranks all night long. This video will be online, hopefully for the rest of my days. But use your internet presence to network. One of the best things that I learned down there this weekend is the network. I met people in there. I met some mentors that are actually mentoring for Ron LeGrand. I met one guy that buys and sells notes. How you coming, bro?
Good.
Did I do this right, or was it the curry first? I might have did it wrong. Stir around for me, Bubba. I might have did that wrong.
Yeah.
All right, now put our curry.
Usually Mama does the curry.
Usually Mama does this. I'm just learning. Stir it up, Bubba. Stir it up. I might have did that backwards.
So if you don't do it the opposite way. So put the curry in first, and then the oil, and then your base.
It's smelling good, Bubba.
I think you need some water in this.
Just need some of this.
It's sticking again. Like
Keep stirring, Bubba. We're almost done, y'all. Man, that is you got that's where the aroma comes from right there. Ooh.
This does not look like
Keep it going. Doesn't look like Mama's?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Mama's.
It's
But the
usually
internet.
oily, like oil.
Let me see.
You need some water.
Did I miss something?
Go ahead and trash.
This?
Yes.
No, this is the base right here, bro. We got it. I gotta.
If you waste that.
All right, now coconut milk goes in next.
Okay, the coconut milk saved your life. Right
It
there.
saved my life. You're right. All right, keep stirring it, bro.
Because if you ate that, you would have been disgusted.
Yeah, I'm gonna be too good. The coconut milk roundup is what gives it the
Your
texture.
softness,
That's
the
right.
oil.
Keep cranking, brother.
It gives you the curry. That's what it gives you.
Oh man, how's it smelling, Bubba?
Great.
I can almost eat the air with this one. Whew. If you're just joining us, we're making curry veggies, sauteed cauliflower, boom, peas and cilantro, sauteed veggies, broccoli, red peppers, zucchini, and the curry. Got your veggie base, the curry, and your coconut milk. Oh man, we're cooking. We're doing something tonight, bro. We're doing something tonight. Good gracious. If anybody has anything they want to talk about, I'm like, man, let's bring you on. Let me bring my boy Bert on. Bert, you there? Never saw it.
Now look at it.
Let's see. Oh man, that's looking good.
Bring the camera here.
They can see it. I don't want to move it. I'm scared. Here, let me show them. Bubba wants you to see this curry. Oh man, it's smoking. The aroma. Whew. Good Lord.
What if it was spicy?
No, I didn't get the spicy one. Keep it going, Bubba. Keep stirring.
Oh, the spicy one is which?
The coconut milk. Did y'all see that going there? Oh man. Bert, you want to come on and talk about that deal? I'm gonna send you a link. Bert, if you're there, I'm gonna send you a link. We talk about that deal. Why not? I think it'd be a good chat. I'm gonna bring you in, Bert.
What if Mama saw your video? Daddy, What if Mommy saw your video?
Bert, if you did, come on in, dude. I sent you a link. I like to talk about that deal you got. I think it'd be nice. I love it. This is why I'm here. This is what we do this roundup. So the internet. Let's see my boy Bert comes on. See what he's doing. If you're not on the internet, I want you to look at your income. If your income is not where it needs to be, let me talk to my homies that got money, like my football players, my professionals.
Daddy, can I just have curry with? Oh, can I try?
Just touch it back of the spoon.
Is it hot?
It's not hot. You need a little bit more base.
Not bad.
Not
But
bad,
it
but
burned my finger.
it did.
That was hot. Like, I'm gonna do it. I can do it.
You drop it in there. If you got some money out there already, make sure money not kind of has a way of getting away from us.
Can I have another spoon?
Just use this one, brother. And make sure you're talking with and are staying in the company of people that are wise. That are wise in handling it. There you go, Bubba. Use both spoons. You good. Get it rocking and rolling. Let's go. We're almost done. Let's see if Bert's coming on, if he's around. So the internet. If your income is not where it needs to be, there is a wave that is coming. I can see it. It's almost like if you imagine a tidal wave full of cell phones, like these mini cell phones that are coming. Man, there is a wave coming, and if you are not taking advantage of this internet, mobile internet, ask yourself, where is my income today? I'm just had a piece of broccoli. You want a piece? Feel good. Ask yourself, if your income is not where it needs to be, ask yourself, am I using the internet? Am I using the internet to make any money?
And if you have allergies, do not take this because you do not want allergies all over your food.
That is true. That's the point there, bro.
You just get more allergies. I just sneezed, so I still don't have allergies.
Man, this smells good, doesn't it? Stir it on in there, Bubba.
Can I only use?
Why is this thing getting hot? We're almost done. Oh, there he is. There goes Bert's right there. That's gonna be some good. Oh man, you guys are in for such a treat. I got my boy Birch coming on. Ooh, big boy treat.
Who's that?
Birch.
What's up, Mr. Haskins?
That's Chef Haskins. Chef.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chef Haskins.
You want to say hi, Bubba? You say hello? What up, Birch?
What's going on, sir? How are you?
Good to see you, my friend. Please forgive me for last week. I know I was kind of.
Yeah.
We were talking. So what you got going on, man? You had a house deal that was going to close. Bring me up to speed, bro.
So last Friday, the 4th of October, so a week and 2 days ago, I signed to close on the house to sell the house that we renovated. The buyer was scheduled to come the following Monday. I got a text on Monday morning that the buyer refused to sign pending a lead-based inspection.
Okay.
And I didn't think it was a big deal. The buyer actually asked for us to do a lead-based inspection. We did the inspection, 2 days later. We sent the inspection back to the buyer, and the buyer said, unfortunately, great that you passed the swab test, but that is not the inspection that we requested.
Okay, so let me bring this up to speed. You bought a house, fixed it up, renovated it, put it on the market, got an offer full price, and we're going to close, and you signed it to close.
Yep, correct.
Signed it to close, and here we are at closing date. Go ahead. I want to give just the framework where we're at.
Yeah, sure. So I signed to sell the property last Friday, or a week ago and a couple days last Friday. The buyer then on the following Monday, 2 or 3 days later, said that they refused to sign it because they required a lead-based inspection.
Okay.
We ordered the lead-based inspection. That inspection was done 2 days later.
All right.
We sent it to the buyer. The buyer said that is not what we want.
Y'all wash your hands. Come on.
They sent that back to us.
I'm listening.
With what they were requiring from us.
Okay.
What they're requiring from us, not one real estate agent that I've talked to in the last 12 months have ever heard of this inspection.
What is this inspection, Chris? I'm not even understanding.
So we are in the property's in the state of Maryland.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, how are you?
Go ahead.
So,
Morgan, go in the bathroom and do that.
The property's in the state of Maryland. The buyer, I've mentioned to you before, the buyer is a bigger company. They're out of Chicago. They buy houses, basically to sell on lease option or lease purchase or rent to own. So my buyer is a group of attorneys that are doing a checklist of what they need to do to qualify.
Okay, listen.
Or what they need me to do to sell to them. Sorry.
Okay.
And what they're requesting of us is a certificate of lead-free certified by the state of Maryland. Not a swab test, which is a normal lead-based inspection test. They're requiring 100% of the property to be lead-free.
Tell me, what does that look like, Chris? I can't picture that.
So the house that we bought, we tore down, we rehabbed. The only one portion that we didn't redo was the original concrete block foundation. We left that existing. We put in all new floor joists. We put on all new subfloor. We built up all the walls. We put the roof on. The original foundation is a concrete block foundation that back in 1920, whatever, when they originally built this house, was probably using lead paint to paint it. So,
Paint the block?
Yep, to paint the original block. Yep. Prior to 1978, it was common that a lot of people who built homes or contracted to build homes use paint that contained lead. So we are required now to order an inspection for a lead-free certificate from the state of Maryland Department of Environment.
Lead-free.
Lead-free, not compliant. We need to be 100% lead-free.
So how are you in your mind? I'm trying to figure out how does that solution look?
So we ordered the inspection. I found an inspector that was certified in the state of Maryland. Keep in mind, there's only 30 people. That looks really, really good.
Kris, I'm trying to do my best to get away from this animal flesh, man. I promise you, not that I'm like a meat shamer, which I'm not going to shame nobody, but I'm like,
yeah, sure.
If I could just do it one day a week, man, go ahead, dude. We got cauliflower, you know what it is. Cauliflower, cilantro, peas, broccoli, and my red chilies over there.
Yeah.
You want to, go ahead. Yours is already on the table. You got a fork right over there. You can cheer after you get done, though. Y'all say grace. Let me say grace real quick.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Ready?
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Thank you for the friends. Thank you for the friends.
Light it up. Good job. Okay, so how does it look? Go ahead, Christopher.
So I learned of this 2 days ago. A day ago. I learned of the report. So the inspector I talked to on Thursday, he says to me, okay, great. Are you the tenant? What are you requesting? And I said, the tenant. He said, well, yeah, the MDE, which is the Maryland Department of Environment test that the buyer is requesting. Are you the tenant? And I said, no, I'm actually the property owner. He said, well, okay, this test is normally ordered by the tenant occupant, not by the owner or the seller. And he stopped and he said to me, are you actually the seller? I said, yes. He said, is there any chance that you're going to sell this to Home Partners of America? I said, yes. He said, oh, great. I've done over 100 inspections for this company in the last month.
Okay.
So this company is bigger than you and I realize. They're a huge company offering rent to own, lease purchase, whatever it is. So I'm now realizing I'm not dealing with a person. I'm dealing with a company of attorneys that are requiring me to go through a checklist of what I need to check off to sell the property to this company. And he asked me the square footage of the house. As you know, the square footage is just under 1,200 square feet. It's on one level. We tore the whole house down, rebuilt the house on the original foundation. And I mentioned to him that the house is not occupied. We're trying to sell it. We're under contract to sell it. And he said, well, we can probably get out there by next Tuesday, which is 4 or 5 days from now. But I said, well, the house is not occupied. There's a lockbox. He said, well, great. Give me the code. If we have a cancellation or we have any reason to get out there, we'll do it before Tuesday. Thankfully, he actually did it the same day he and I talked, which was Friday, which was yesterday.
Wow.
Yep. So I got the report from him.
So he knew exactly what you were looking for.
Yep. He knew exactly what it was. He knew what box to check, what the company was looking for to sell it. And it is 100% lead-free certificate. So the Maryland Department of Environment issues a certificate based on his certified inspection that there is 0% lead on the entire property. So a normal lead paint-based inspection is normally a swab inspection. They'll come in, they'll swab the floor, they'll swab the windowsill. Most new construction or rehab is going to pass. The problem is this house was constructed in 1927, and so says the inspector, when they used to use lead paint, the original concrete, actually absorbed lead coming out of the paint. So no matter what you did, whether it was, pressure wash or scrape or repaint it, there's still going to be a percentage of lead in that foundation, which means we don't pass. If there's 1% lead, we fail. Hey, Kris, hold on one second.
Good. Hey guys, if you're just joining me, I'm just cooking dinner. We made curry veggies tonight. If you wanted to see my recipe, you can rewind it. Y'all think it's pretty good, or? Bubba? Pretty good?
It's great.
All right, well, if you don't know if it's good, Bubba? Thank you for helping me.
You're welcome.
So, what's wrong with you?
All right, sorry about that.
Any questions you got around that family? We'll go over some questions tonight, too. Go ahead, Fred.
So I get the inspection report, and the inspection report says that you either have to, 1, enclose, or 2, replace the following items. The concrete foundation on the driveway side, on the front of the house, on the right side of the house, which is the opposite of the driveway side, and the 4 columns on the front porch of the house have to be either enclosed or replaced.
I'm trying to picture that. I can't see it. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. When he told me that, I didn't understand what he was saying to me. So enclosure, they gave me a list. And actually, let me grab my phone. I'm going to tell you the list of what materials are actually approved.
All right. I think I left the other coconut milk better. What do you think, Taylor?
Nothing really tastes different to me.
Huh?
Nothing tastes different to me.
Tastes the same? I'm doing a pretty good job then. If it tastes pretty good then, right?
It does. It tastes great.
Thank you, man. I didn't ask you. Round up, if you got any questions, throw them in the chat box. Me and Kris will go over. I'm listening, Kris.
Yep, I'm actually pulling up the approved materials to, when they say enclosed, it actually means to cover. So you have to actually cover what might have lead paint or replace that. Obviously, for us, we're not going to replace the foundation of the whole house.
Yeah, that is laughable in the least.
I felt that way, but yeah.
That's laughable in the least. Sounds like some attorneys, man, want to say if something comes up in a million years, they want to say, I got this piece of paper to cover me.
But actually, you bring that up, you're right. So when I heard about it, and so I rewind to when I heard that they wanted the lead inspection, my initial thought was lead-based paint inspection. That's very common when you're selling a house. They're going to come in, they'll swab the floor, they'll swab the windowsill, no big deal. We did it. I paid for it. We sent it to the buyer, and the buyer rejected it.
How much was it?
It was very cheap. It was like $115.
Mm-hmm.
That's for a lead-based paint inspection. So, it's a brand new house.
What was that?
Something broke. I don't know. So the initial lead-based paint inspection is very inexpensive. It's a very common thing that home buyers ask of a builder, of a rehabber. But when they came back and said that we don't want that, we want the Maryland Department of Environment certificate of lead-free, I was on Google all day looking and searching and finding, and found out that this actual certificate, unlike the lead-based paint, the lead-based paint would mean Kris or whoever owns my property has now been approved that there's no lead-based inside this house. The certificate of Maryland Department of Environment lead-free actually conveys with this address forever. And I know you're going to ask me, what does convey mean? It means because Kris, as the homeowner, or whoever owns this house, rehabbed it, got it certified by the state of Maryland. No matter who owns it, sells it, occupies it, or rents it, forever after the day the certificate is issued, they will never be forced to get a lead paint inspection after that.
It goes with the house.
It goes with the address of the house. Yep. So this company, as we know, it's a big company. They buy it, they rent it to own, they lease option it, whatever they do with it. They require this because forever, as long as they own this property, they can do whatever they want with it. They fall between way below the federal mandate and way below the Maryland mandate of lead-based inspection. They can do whatever they want forever.
One second, Kris. Hold on.
Yep.
Taylor, you finish your dinner?
How about me?
Bubba, you good. Bubba, you good. All right, Kris. So you got the inspection in?
Just curry. I mean,
So we ordered that inspection. They did
just
it.
cauliflower, Daddy.
They actually did it on Friday.
You can do it. Let me do it.
I can do it.
Okay.
Yep, they did it on Friday, which was a day ago. Or no, I'm sorry, they did it on Thursday, and I talked to them Friday morning. And one additional thing they required me to do as the homeowner / tenant, and I can't, for the state of Maryland, you can't be the owner and order this inspection. You actually have to be the tenant or the occupant. They required me to call the state of Maryland Department of Environment to get a tracking number. State of Maryland gives me a tracking number as the tenant. I call the inspector. I give the inspector the tracking number. He adds it to the certificate. And once I do the scope of work that he's requiring us to do, because we did fail, we failed the Maryland State inspection. We passed the original homeowner lead-based paint inspection, but this mecca of inspection certificates they're asking for, we failed. And quite honestly, any house that was built prior to 1978 in the entire country is going to fail the lead-based paint inspection. And even the inspector told me, he said that even if we scraped all the paint off the original foundation, even if we pressure washed it, even if we repainted it, of which all we did, if that foundation shows 1% of lead, we're going to fail.
Kris, I'm trying to figure out, can you paint over it?
If you paint over it, so they come out. It reminded me of I don't know what movie it was because I didn't actually go to the inspection, but the movie I envisioned is they have these big masks on, they have a bodysuit on, they have this laser, and they're pointing the laser at every different direction, and if 1% shows up, they fail it. So we have a buyer that has offered all cash, that's a major corporation, that's willing to purchase it free. 100%. They're ready to close on this deal if we hand them one piece of paper that says the state of Maryland certifies this property lead-free. And it's been a month of going. It's little stuff. It's back and forth. It's legal stuff. I'm dealing with a company that has legal attorneys that advise them. And I think I mentioned at some point to you that, like, even in the original purchase and sale agreement, they actually gave almost 23 or 25 people authority to sign on their behalf to close the deal.
Help me out, Kris.
Yeah.
I want to stay here for a minute. Why are we here at closing? Why aren't we here a week after closing, Kris? I'm real cloudy with this.
Okay. So the original buyer's offered all cash based on inspection contingencies.
Okay.
Inside of the original purchase and sale agreement, which I now know, but I didn't read the first time and was not advised by my seller agent nor the buyer agent, there was a 2-page addendum inside the purchase and sale agreement.
Did you not notice it, or is it something that you just initial and just keep it moving?
All right. So as some of your subscribers know, when you either buy a house or sell a house, there's multiple documents.
Mm-hmm.
When you DocuSign or you virtually sign those documents, most companies allow you to download either the single docs or combining the documents as one PDF. When I bought this property, when I bought my personal property, I downloaded all of them as one PDF. It's a 40 or 50-page document.
Mm-hmm.
I went through the original purchase and sale agreement. I saw that their basic contingency was based on the homeowner inspection. No one said to me, "Oh, you need to look out for this clause on page 2 of the addendum," which was actually page 33 or 34 of the whole purchase and sale agreement.
Uh-huh.
And line number 17 says, so actually, let me rewind. So the original purchase and sale agreement says that the buyer, they initialed it, relieves the right to themselves to order a lead paint inspection. They waive that right on the original purchase and sale. Okay? But the document inside of this whole purchase and sale agreement, there was a 2-page addendum. They itemized on line number 13 or line number 17 that the buyer requires the Maryland Department of Energy lead-free certificate. And if we cannot provide that within that 10-day inspection and clause that we agreed to, they have the right, and I, as the seller, have the right to walk away.
Mm.
So if we rewind 6 or 7 days, they agreed to buy it. I agreed last Friday to sell it. I went to settlement. I signed it. Monday, they said we will refuse 100% to sign to buy it because you don't have this one certificate. And it was an addendum. It was a 2-page addendum in the multi-page documents.
Mm.
So here we are 6 days after we were supposed to close, and they went and did the lead-free certificate inspection yesterday, and they are requesting that we enclose the entire foundation on the front, the back, or excuse me, not the back, the front, both sides, and the columns on the front porch.
Give me a visual of what enclosing a foundation is, Chris. I don't even know what that is. I've been doing this since 2004, and I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I had no idea. So, in closing, they said, let me pull the email up that I just had from yesterday.
Okay. You're in Maryland. What part of Maryland? You college? What is it?
We're in District Heights in PG County.
Round up family. I just want you to know where Chris is, and this is something that I've never seen, and I hope this doesn't become common practice because we're gonna be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. So I mean, from what I understand, I'm gonna read actually the requirements of what the lead-based paint requires, but this buyer is not our conventional buyer. This buyer is a company that wants free and clear, no liability whatsoever to this address. They want to be able to rent it to own. They want to rent it. They want to sell it. Whatever they want to do, it's a document that they want to put in the folder, and then agree that we can do whatever we want to this house. And I understand it. To me, it's annoying, but if that's what you're requiring, that's fine. They have a person who qualified for their rent to own program who loves the house. They're ready to buy the house on lease option. They just want to protect themselves, so says their attorney, all the way through the board.
Gotcha.
So I'll read to you the email that I got from the lead-free inspection. It says, and this was yesterday at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
It says, "Hey Kris, we actually performed your lead paint inspection today. The property will be lead-free when the following exterior components are enclosed or replaced.
Gotcha.
The front, the side B and side A foundation walls, front porch columns and the column caps, garage door casings and frames, and interior garage boards that doors are mounted to. The fastest way for us to re-inspect is to take pictures of all the completed work, 1 picture per item, and then either email or text it to us. We prefer email. If you cannot text or email it to us, or it is too much work, let us know, and we'll come out and re-inspect at no charge."
Wow. Okay. I'm still unclear, but I'm listening, brother.
So the definition of enclose was actually defined, and that's what I was going to pull up next.
Okay.
The definition of enclosed.
What's what?
Is that for you?
For Mom. How was it, dude? You starving yourself until tomorrow?
Yeah.
I might change my mind on that one. I won't, but I don't like it when you starve yourself. We're waiting for you, Kris. You looking for something?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up. I just want your subscribers to understand what I'm learning, and I'm sure you know. No. You know that you have to be very specific in the language that you use.
I don't want to think at all. I want them to tell me exactly what to do.
That's why I asked them to please send me exactly what you need to know.
You don't want to be thinking here at all.
Nope, not at all. All right, so this inspector sent me a list of acceptable items to enclose, which actually means to cover completely. What materials are approved to enclose where minor amounts of lead paint were actually found? So you have, basically what they're saying is you have 2 options. You can replace the component, or you can enclose it or cover it. Enclosure is defined as rigid material that has been mechanically fastened, and they have a proven list of materials you can use.
How long is that list?
What's that?
How long is that list?
7 or 8 items.
So have you worked it out? Is that something that's feasible? I'm thinking about wrapping it with metal, maybe. I don't know.
Well, good point. So one of the items of material you can use to wrap the foundation and the block columns on the front porch is aluminum.
Okay, that ain't too bad.
In addition to that, you can wrap it with, and they're not defining it as interior or exterior. They're just listing materials that you can use to enclose it.
Yeah.
Sheetrock, paneling, siding, aluminum, coil stock, vinyl, or basically it's Luan, which is basically standard plywood.
I'm trying to think how that's going to look. We would have to get some decorative around it. Are we talking about the skirt, right?
We're talking about the skirt, and we're talking about the 4 columns on the front porch.
We can handle that. We can wrap that. I'm not worried about those. That's wood.
No, the columns, if you remember, coming up from the concrete porch, there's actually concrete block that comes up 3 feet. And then there's the new post that we put in to go up to the roof of the front porch. So they're requesting the concrete block that's 3 feet above the front porch down to the foundation to be covered in addition.
I see what you're saying. Y'all are killing me with your forks. I can't hear myself think.
So materials that they said you cannot use are paint, carpet, lead block paint, gels, foam, or insulation.
Okay. This is good Saturday night training TV, my friend.
Now, and I will add for you, Chris, it clearly states in bold, italicized type, you can also strip the component to make it lead free.
No, but I put it in
We don't usually recommend this option. It is easy to strip the first 95% off, but the last 5% is very difficult, and your test results need to read 100% positive for no lead.
Yeah, I'm thinking about you doing a.
We did that. We pressure washed it, we scraped it, and we repainted it. But if there's 1% lead that shows in that foundation, you're going to fail this Maryland certificate.
I see somebody said put plywood, thin sheet of plywood.
Yeah, so I met with my contractors today. It honestly, it's going to look horrible.
Yeah,
It's going to look horrible, but the easiest solution is to literally either bolt or nail plywood around the whole house, and then create a block, a casing around the 4 columns, frame that, and then put plywood around it, and then paint it. And this is a G-rated show, but it's going to look like crap.
yeah.
So
Okay.
all they want is the certificate. They want a certificate, and they'll close. It's a group of attorneys. They're whatever. They want a document to put in the folder to say we have this thing sold, and they'll sign it.
Wow. So, give me the visual. I still don't see what you're gonna say. Tell me what your solution is.
I mean, from a home renovation or contractor standpoint, it's going to look awful. But all they want us to do is to run plywood around the entire foundation of the house. So below the siding, run plywood around. We're not required to paint it, but I mean,
We're doing, buddy.
at least paint it white.
Hey, buddy.
And then I actually have a photo. I don't know how the photo will show up to you, Chris, but if we did
Taylor, pick it up. Taylor, pick it up. Take it in the trash can. Good job. Pick it straight up, Taylor, because when you drag it on the floor, it sounds like somebody's taking their fingernails and scraping it on the floor.
Hey, Chris, I don't know if this is showing. Let me see if I can get it in here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that showing up good or no?
Is that your front porch?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it because I can see it, but no, they're not going to be able to understand it.
Yeah. So I tried to give the potential buyer a rendering of, we're going to cover these beautiful columns, and we're going to put plywood and wrap it around all 4 sides, and then we're going to paint it. It's going to look like the world's cheapest flip. What were we trying to hide, or what we were trying to cover?
So we got plywood going around these. Does it go up like that, kind of like that?
Yeah. So it's going to go up both sides. It's going to go up the front and back, and then across the top where that post comes down.
Chris, I'm thinking about, is it in the scope of just deleting those lower columns and just making some new wooden ones maybe, or some new block ones or something?
No, because the whole house, the whole square of the house is sitting on all of this concrete block that was built 100 years ago. So I mean, obviously it's cheaper to cover and surround it and just cover it. But we're talking about removing the foundation of the house, basically.
So the columns in the front are kind of connected to the.
They're connected to the same foundation.
Yeah.
And then the foundation they're asking us to cover on the sides of the house are what the walls and everything are sitting on top of.
Good. What number are we looking at to do this, Kris? Is this the only two things?
Yeah, it's a minor some minor enclosure on the casings around the garage doors out back that will basically go up the sides of the door and across the top of the garage door on the exterior. So we can actually cover those pretty easily with like a PVC or something, some sort of substrate that we can adhere on it.
Gotcha.
I mean, my whole thing is that I don't want to say I poured my heart into it, but like we did a lot of things to keep the original integrity of the physical makeup of this property that obviously we were not required to do, but we wanted to keep some of the original of this house. And because of a simple lead-free certificate, we're going to have to put some plywood around it and paint it white.
Man, that is crazy.
Because of the terms of what the buyer wants. But keep in mind, I've been able for the last, the 22nd of September, I was outside of my inspection clause from the buyer. So I could have walked away at any time, and so could the buyer. But I just thought it's a cash deal, no real contingencies, basically an inspection clause. We passed that with no problem. And then they had this one little document, which is a lead-free document from the state of Maryland that they require to have whenever they purchase a property.
Go ahead and feed her to Bubba. Go ahead and feed Missy. Help me understand why you can't wrap it with aluminum. You can't bend it and make a break and go around it to make it look.
I mean, I guess you could take aluminum sheathing of some kind and just wrap the columns.
Get the table too.
But you got to remember, on top of those columns, they're requiring us to cover the top as well. So we already have a post that comes down, and we're going to have 6 or 7 inches on either side of that post in all 4 directions that they're going to require us to wrap the whole column all the way down to the ground. And I think that would look even worse than just building up 4 walls around that block.
Okay, so what's the cost we're looking at, Kris?
So I had 2 of my guys out there, 2 contractors. On the high end, we're probably $3,000.
3.
Yep. Well, that's labor and materials.
Give me a visual. You got plywood on the bottom of a house going to the ground, or you got to dig back a little bit and put the plywood down in there and put the dirt back.
The requirement for the lead-based paint to be free and clear from lead-based paint is you either have to enclose it or replace it. So all we literally have to do is take the composite material they gave us a list for, which was the aluminum, the plywood, the PVC. We just have to cover that so that is no longer exposed to the exterior of the house.
Let me ask you, how about doing a skim coat of some type of material?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
So I brought that up, and there are multiple products on the market that enclose the lead-based paint. But based on the state of Maryland Department of Environment requirements, they do not allow you to paint over with a lead paint enclosure. It has to be a composite material.
Composite meaning what?
A physical piece of material. A physical piece of material.
Okay, so we can't mix it up with water.
A piece of plywood, a piece of PVC, a sheet of aluminum. It has to be a composite material to cover it, which to me is hysterical because they're going to actually label this house, if we do that, lead free. And all we did was put something on top of the lead and it now certified. It's not lead free. It's still there. We just put something on top of it and it's lead free.
It's crazy, man.
I know.
It's crazy. You do what you got to do to get out of it, right?
You do. So what I will say that I've actually requested of my listing agent to do is, because I'll repeat it again so your class actually understands that Kris is the entity, the LLC that owns this property, is selling this property to another entity who's going to take their deed once they close and agree to buy it from Kris and then close with Kris. They're going to take that and then lease option or rent to own this property to an end buyer that has agreed to pay the terms and then purchase it at some point for whatever price. So
Gotcha.
I've requested from the buyer, the entity, that I need to be assured in writing from them that when I change the physical characteristics of the exterior of this house, I am now removing the facade of this property, the appeal of the property, the historical value, or whatever you want to call it. I'm now going to cover this with a bunch of pieces of plywood and paint them white. I need to be assured in writing this does not hinder our purchase and sale agreement. Because what happens if this company or the end buyer, the rent to own person, says, well, that's not what I originally went and looked at. That's ugly. They just put plywood. I don't want that house anymore. So I need to be assured that this is not going to be contingent on them purchasing the property.
That's what I'm responding. Huh?
They haven't responded yet, but I just wrote it today. So
that's exactly where my head was at, Kris.
Yeah.
What happens if they say, yeah, thanks, but no thanks?
Well, now I have a house that I rebuilt from the foundation up. I did it to code. I did it, so says the local municipalities. I did everything that was required to sell the property. In addition, I ordered the original lead paint inspection, which we passed. Then I was required to cover up all this original facade of the property. And then the buyer says, oh, it's ugly now. We don't want that. And they can walk away.
Bubba, turn that down.
So I need some, for me, and obviously my listing agent agrees with me, I need some sort of written agreement that they're willing to still purchase this property after I put all this ugly plywood over the original, foundation and the columns.
Yeah. What if they? Yeah. Can you get something out of them, dude? I'm like, what can you get out of them, Kris? I feel like I want to get some money out of them or something to verify it, like some type of an escrow or something.
Possibly. I mean, obviously, you and I are neither of us are an attorney, but the gut feeling is I need some assurance from this company that after I do these few little things that's obviously going to cost me a couple $1,000s more, am I assured in writing that you're still going to convey the purchase of the property? Are you still, no matter what I do to pass this certificate, are you still willing to buy the house?
Shit, man. No doubt. Yeah, I'm like, once you do the work, it looks ugly. They don't want it. You got to undo the work. It's nasty.
Right. So my gut instinct on Friday when I heard this was, tell them guys to go fly a kite. Let's put this thing back on the market. We had 3 offers in 4 days, a month ago. So we know we did good work. We know people are attracted to the property. Why am I going to sit here and, follow the lead of some big company that just wants, us to follow these little requirements. And I said, you know what? Worst case, I find out how much it's going to cost, and I'm still able, based on our inspection clause, which is expired, 10 days ago.
Yeah.
I can still walk away today, tomorrow, Monday, whenever. But hearing that it's only going to cost that amount of money, it's an all cash offer, and all they're saying is all we actually require is this certificate, makes me feel a little good. But I still said this morning, I need something in writing to say that after I make this house from beautiful to ugly, I need some assurance that you guys are still willing to pay for this house.
Yeah, this nasty, dog.
Yeah.
This nasty.
Yeah.
I would say get them some type of affidavit, Chris, get them to sign it. But I mean, is that really gonna?
Yeah, I mean, I laughed the other day when I called you, and the EMD they put down was 0.5%. I mean, what am I going to do pursuing them for $1,200? Like, it's going to cost me more to retain an attorney to pursue that. Like, it's not even worth my time.
You see if they raise the EMD.
Yeah.
See if they raise the EMD, Chris, to $2,500. I don't know, man. I want you to get something, though. I want you to get something before you give.
Right. But I mean, you know what, Chris? I mean, I think you know this. I don't know if your subscribers know this. I own this house. I own this house 100%. There's no liens. There's no judgments. There's no hard money. There's nothing. I owe property tax, and it's mine.
Yeah, but still, man. I mean, you don't want to be. You got other deals. You want to free that money up. You want to move on.
Sure. And I even brought it up with my listing agent this morning when he called, and he said that he actually spoke to the buyer agent, and the buyer agent released what you and I know, and probably most of your class knows. There's a person who's gone through the program to qualify for this company's rent-to-own program. And the person finally revealed themselves this morning. It's a single female, which is fine. It's great. She loves the house, and she kind of wants to know what's taking so long. So says the buyer agent. And my suggestion this morning, which obviously my listing agent didn't like, was, why don't you put me in contact with her? I pay you a flat fee for listing it. I pay the buyer agent a flat fee for finding the property. And then I enter to a purchase and sale agreement with the end buyer who's willing to do the lease purchase anyways. I
got you.
And of course they didn't want to do anything of the sort. They're like, oh no, we have to sell it.
How did you get in touch with them, if you don't mind me asking?
So the buyer agent's name sounded real familiar to me. I don't know her personally, but when I searched her online, I found who the buyer agent was, and she's actually very good friends with another customer of mine. So I've never gone outside of the scope of what agreement I have with my selling agent, but I've done my own personal research. I mean, it's
Gotcha.
DC's a major city in U.S., but it's a small city. You can find people.
Gotcha. Yes.
So I'm obviously not going to do that. I'm under an agreement with my selling agent, and we're under contract. I'm trying to find the easiest resolve to get out of the deal that we're in, to sell the property, pay off, what we need to pay off, take our net earnings, and reinvest that money correctly.
Get it over with.
Yep.
If you're just joining us, Chris has a house under contract. He has bought a property, fixed it up, renovated it, got a buyer full price. It's full price, Chris?
It is 100% full price, all cash.
Are you paying closing costs for them?
We are paying closing costs, yes. Yep.
That's fine. Chris got a full price offer, and within 2 weeks, it
wasn't even 2 weeks. We were under contract in 5 days.
So you got an offer in 5 days.
Yep.
He has already, with 30 days, we're at closing. Chris has already closed out. Now he's ran into a speed bump. His buyer wants a lead-free inspection.
Yep.
That's different from a lead-based paint. Lead-free.
Lead-free.
Boy.
Yeah.
Wow, man. I can't wait to see how this plays out, Chris. But What are you going to do? I would like to ask that question. What are you going to do?
So I had 2 contractors come out today to give me a quote. I mentioned how much it will cost to do it.
Yeah.
I sent an addendum or my listing agent sent an addendum to the buyer agent with the verbiage that I requested of
Hit those blinds, Steeler.
I need to be reassured in writing that the facade of the house that we are going to cover is not going to have any bearing to them purchasing the house.
Yeah, because it's going to look like crap.
It's going to look like crap. Yep. G-rated crap. Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep.
You're almost lowering the. I'm just like, over time, wood's going to get deteriorated, whatever. You know, I feel like you're lowering the quality of the work you do.
I laughed today because we're arguing about a foundation that does have contaminants of lead that has been on the base of this house since 1927 and has not fallen apart.
That's pretty daggone good.
I mean, I'm not condoning the fact back in the day they used lead paint, but they made material to last for a long, long time.
Good point. And you're gonna cover it up with some wood,
some plywood, some glued together piece of whatever, and put paint on top of it.
Unbelievable, Chris.
But it is certified by the state of Maryland Department of Environment that it is now lead free if we put that on top.
Unbelievable.
It doesn't make it right, but
you know what's weird? Dan Kennedy told me what I read in his book. I listened to many of his videos. He says you can either be right or you can be rich, but you can't be both.
Yeah.
What do you think about that regarding this situation, Chris?
Well, thankfully, I won't be rich off of this one property.
Well, I mean, you won't get your money. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I agree. But, yeah, just because it's right, I mean, just because it's what they want you to do does not mean it's right. But it allows you the liquidity to then move forward and do what you got to do.
How many times have I faced this mountain of having to do stuff that makes no sense, no bearing on reality, no reasoning to do, but to get out?
Yep, that's true.
Wow.
That's true.
I think that's an entrepreneur thing, Chris. I mean, it's just part of being a business owner.
I think it is. I agree. I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is.
All right. Well, you and I will reconvene. That's weird because will I be back up there? No, I won't.
No.
I still would like to try to get you before I leave. Let's reconvene, Chris, once you have figured out which way you're going to go. Because right now, let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
You're wanting them to you want them to come up with a solution for you. Where you're willing to do the work, but you want them to say, "Hey, we'll agree to buy it after the work's done." That's what you're saying,
right? So basically, in layman's terms or simple terms, I'm asking them, because all they want is this one certificate, one piece of paper, is after I make this beautiful house ugly by putting this wood on top of the foundation.
That's crazy.
Are they still willing to buy the house?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, let me tell you, Chris, I actually sent you the verbiage. I'm not an attorney, but I typed up a simple statement that I requested from the buyer. And I said that the Maryland Department of Environment 1A certificate will be issued once the foundation walls, the front porch foundation walls, and the columns and the column top are enclosed. The buyer agrees that although this will change the physical characteristics of the property, it holds no reason for the buyer not to purchase the property as agreed.
I don't think they're looking for. Well, let me ask you: do you think they're looking for a way out?
No, I don't. I don't think they are. But keep in mind, their purchase is based on the person none of us know, this young lady who has gone through their program, qualified through their program, loved the house in the condition it is currently, and has agreed to rent to buy this house. Does that person then have reason to reject it after we put this plywood on top of it? I don't know.
I think they got another buyer in the wings.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you. This is something. Because if I was a buyer, I'd be like, man, I'm good.
Right.
You gonna give me some plywood? What? I would think you're covering up something. I would be like, why are you covering up this crap? Right?
Yeah. I mean, the funny part is that the rent-to-own person could offer to purchase this house on lease option, move in, rip all that crap off, and say this is a beautiful house, and they still have the same certificate that it was approved for.
Good point. Good point.
So I'm trying to be cautious on how I convey that information between my agent and the buyer agent, but I'm not worried about the company. I'm more worried about the individual that, and maybe, like you said, they have buyers in tow. It's possible. But I'm more thinking, is this person, whoever she may be, in love with the house, in love with the interior, in love with the bathroom? None of that stuff matters. But when she pulls in the driveway, now Kris has put plywood on top of all of the damn foundation.
You're right, man. That's some El Cheapo stuff there, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think somebody said maybe ask for a larger MD, which we said, and maybe make that earnest money non-refundable. Kent Williams is saying that. I don't know where he's coming out of, but is that something that crossed your mind?
It has, but they offered 0.5% because they're smart. They're a company, they're attorneys, and they're like, no seller's going to come after them for the EMD for 0.5%. You know,
Waste of time.
Yeah.
Waste of time.
Yeah.
All right, Kris, we've been on here for an hour and a half, man. Let me go ahead and we'll go ahead and we will reconvene with you in about a week or so.
Sounds great.
And I would love to see how this thing unfolds, and maybe you could call me and shoot me some pictures of.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to call it foolishness, but give me a word. Give me one word that you're calling this situation.
The definitive word is annoying.
Annoying.
Because what they're requesting has no bearing whatsoever on selling a house to any person or any company. Nothing of what they're asking for even matters.
Unbelievable, man.
Yep. My own house I live in, I'm positive it was built in the 20s as well. There's lead paint all around the foundation, but if you don't disturb it and don't do anything to it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, who cares, right?
Yeah, no one matters. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
All right, man. Let me get out of here. I'm gonna get some ice cream. Kris, I'll talk to you this week, my friend.
All right, man. Sounds great. Right. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Round up, family. These are the things that you're going to have to get accustomed to. Craziness, annoying. Let me do some quick Q&A. Y'all want to go get some Dairy Queen?
Sure.
Y'all don't sound like y'all want to go. Hit my Taylor. Hit my blinds. All of them, bro. Kent, you got some good questions there. Oh, you're from Houston. Yeah, okay. Jesse, you're in VA. What up, Jesse? How do investors get around signing a buyer-broker agreement? That is something. Can't imagine one agent being able to see every house when the investor wants. Jesse, yeah, I do have a relationship with my broker. She lets me go work with other people, but that is something people want to lock you down. What I would do is I would do like a 30-day thing. Because don't forget, Jesse, people do want to establish relationships, and you never know what could come out of it. But you don't want to tie yourself. You never want number one in any business, right? You just don't want number one. So I would say give her a 30-day thing. Let her try you out for 30 days. See how that works. If the results aren't good in 30 days, I would. If the results aren't good in 30 days, I would move on. But you might have to sign that. Or you could, 30 days. I would give them 30 days. Why not? Jesse, I hope that helps you. I don't know where you at. Kent, you in Houston. Sounds like they were trying to back out of the deal. No, they're not trying to back out. They got plenty of money. They're attorneys, a group of attorneys around the country. You had one in California. Huh, I believe it. Covered with plywood. Yeah, that's what you were saying. Any questions you got, whether it's going to be the internet or whether it's going to be on real estate, we'll go ahead and hit them all. We'll hit them all up. And don't forget, if you haven't already, make sure you take a second, go below, click that subscribe button, Roundup, and don't forget to hit the bell so you know when we go live. Man, I've got some juicy stuff coming up for you. Woo, gonna blow your mind. Mona, hey Mona, I would have them pay for the work up front. That's a good thing you could do, and then they cover the cost to replace it. Maybe you could try that. I'd ask for a larger MB. We talked about that one. Jesse, my wife is calling me to watch the show. Talk to you later. Okay, cool. You're going to watch another show. That's fine. Yeah. Danny, hey, you finally caught us. Yes, praise God. Hey, Danny, thanks for hanging out with us. I very rarely get to do this Saturday night. My wife is out of town for the day. So I get to go live. Well, I had to do dinner tonight. Trying to eat more healthy. Trying to eat better, y'all. Thank you. I can't even read Uniqueness. Thank you for watching my channel. Oh, you in Hampton Roads? Okay, yeah. Shoot me a DM. We'll get my favorite coffee at my Krispy Kreme. When am I going to make another video about the conference I went to? It will probably be, I'll be in Los Angeles all next week. It'll probably be the week after that. Because, matter of fact, let me tell you what's going on next week, Roundup. I am so honored. Sometimes I tear up, think about this life I get to live. Golly. Going to Los Angeles to hang out with a whole bunch of YouTubers. Roundup family, my real estate Roundup family. And it doesn't have to be real estate. I'm begging you. If your income is where you want it to be or it isn't, please look into this internet/social media craze. If you're like me, I was a social media hater. I used to hate social media, and I met people still to this day. They say, "I ain't on social media. I don't want any of that crap." I'm like, I'm done with preaching to people the power of social media. If you're not on it, that's on you. But if your income is not where you want it to be, or you're looking to make more money, the internet and the social media can rocket launch you. So I'm going to Los Angeles to hang out with about 800 other YouTube stars, if you will. These guys are doing a conference out there 4 days. And I promise you, these guys are making more money in a month than I have seen people make in a year, 2 years, strictly on social media, guys. It's called the Vid Summit. Man, these dudes, Roundup, please look into this internet. I just cannot say it enough. I'm so passionate. At first in my life, I'm passionate about real estate, but when I saw the power of the internet and how this social media thing is it is a wave. If you could just imagine a huge wave. I don't know if you saw that movie. God, what was that movie? They were traveling through space and they landed on an island. Matthew McConaughey. What was the name of that movie? He had a huge wave coming, like a mile-high wave. This wave is full of cell phones, many cell phones, and it is coming. It is going to blow you away if you're not online. It is going to blow you away. What we got here? Insurance agent. Okay, cool. There are a lot of leads. Okay, yeah, we can. I would say let's go ahead and take a look at see how we can maybe work together, do some joint ventures, Danny. KC and MC, what up, my brother? I think I saw you down there. What does the private money lender agreement go past? Oh, hey, Chris, when does the private money lender agreement go past a year? When does it go past a year? Don't forget, KC and MC, you are creating the terms on your private lender note, your promissory note. No one is creating that note. So you can tell your lender a year. I usually do a year. We pay them back and we reinvest it, or we move that capital. We substitute that collateral with another house since we've got more than one going at once. So all you do is move that collateral, move that note over and keep paying them. That's all I would do. Deborah, episode, yes, eating dinner and real estate, yes, trying to do health and wealth. I'm trying to go health and wealth is what my goal is. Kenny, yeah, oh, that's right. What up, Kenny? My brother Kenny, pleasure meeting you, man. It's an honor to meet you, my friend, hang out with you. All right, Roundup family, we are done for today. Make sure you take a second to subscribe. Oh, shoot. Hit that bell, and I will see you on Monday. I don't know who my Monday Masters is yet. But hopefully we'll have somebody on for Monday Masters. And if you're in Los Angeles, please direct message me so we can hook up. And I'm cutting back coffee. I don't like what it's doing to me, my body. I can feel it. But maybe we'll do a decaf or something. Okay, Roundup. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.